The first moments of the day are the most telling, the moments that define who will rise above the ordinary and who will remain among the many. While the world sleeps, while the mind is still free from distractions and noise, a warrior has a choice: to awaken aimlessly, following habit and comfort, or to awaken with intent, claiming the morning as his own. In those quiet hours, the mind is sharpest, the spirit most receptive, and the body most capable of forming habits that will endure. The 1% who rise before the world do not do so for glory or recognition. They do so because they understand that mastery begins before the day even begins. When I rise before dawn, it is never for spectacle, it is never to impress, it is to face the simplest yet most demanding opponent, myself. The body is stiff, the mind is heavy, and the spirit can be restless. These are the first battles of the day, and they are often the hardest. The temptations of comfort, of turning back under the warm covers, of delaying the day, are subtle but powerful adversaries. Yet a warrior knows that yielding here undermines everything that comes after. Victory is cumulative. It begins with the smallest acts of self-mastery, repeated without hesitation. The morning is where that foundation is laid. Discipline in these hours is not about routine alone. It is about presence, about awareness, about training every sense to align with intention. Even simple acts, washing the hands, drawing the blade, stretching the body, become exercises in focus. Each movement is deliberate, each breath is measured. The world has not yet demanded anything, but the warrior demands everything from himself. By setting the mind and body in harmony before the sun rises, he enters the day prepared for anything, while others stumble, unready. The unseen moments before the world awakens shape the outcomes of all that follow. I have walked in the stillness of the early morning, observing how light stretches across the land, how shadows fall and shift, how the wind carries sound before it even reaches the ear. These are not idle observations. They are lessons in perception and patience, in the quiet discipline that precedes action. The blade I carry is sharpened in body and mind alike, and the clarity I cultivate in solitude allows me to perceive opportunity, risk, and movement in ways that others cannot. The mind trained in stillness carries precision into chaos. The spirit strengthened in quiet remains unshaken in conflict. Many believe that skill alone is enough. They believe that waking late, moving hastily, and living distracted lives can be compensated for by talent or luck. But these are illusions. Strength without readiness falters. Speed without awareness is wasted. The world does not wait for the unprepared. The morning is the proving ground, the first test of commitment, and the earliest opportunity to assert control over oneself. A warrior who masters these hours begins the day with advantage. One who does not is already behind. The power of rising early is not in the act itself, but in the discipline it cultivates. It teaches consistency. It teaches self-reliance. There is no one to guide the mind, no one to inspire the body, no one to remind the spirit. Every choice in these hours rests solely with the individual. Will he yield to comfort, or will he rise to claim his own power? Will he allow distraction to invade, or will he focus, measure, and prepare? The answers define not only the morning but the entire day, for habits formed here echo across every moment that follows. I observed many who attempted to imitate strength, who admired the warriors of legend, but they neglected the quiet discipline that precedes visible skill. They practiced when it was convenient, trained when others were watching, prepared only when reward or recognition was promised. Such effort is hollow. The mind remains unsharpened, the body unconditioned, the spirit untested. True preparation occurs when no one is watching, when no one will celebrate your effort, when the only witness is the self. The early hours are sacred because they are unclaimed by the world, and the warrior who claims them shapes himself without distraction. Even the smallest moments in the morning carry weight. The way the body moves, the way the breath is controlled, the way attention is given to each action, all of these become habits of precision. A mind trained to notice the subtle currents of the morning will notice the subtle currents of conflict. A body disciplined to respond before the world intrudes will respond instinctively in battle. Every sunrise offers this opportunity, and the one who refuses it wastes not only time but potential. Discipline is cumulative. Each dawn builds on the last, each moment reinforcing the one before, until the warrior is not just prepared but forged. Rising before the world also teaches humility and patience. It teaches the lesson that mastery is not granted by talent or opportunity alone. It is earned hour by hour through repeated acts of attention, intention, and effort. There is no quick path to the skill and clarity that define the 1%. Those who seek shortcuts are left behind, unaware that the morning hours, quiet and uncelebrated, hold the key to endurance, perception, and control. By committing to these hours, the warrior aligns himself with forces he cannot see but can feel: the rhythm of the day, the readiness of the body, the clarity of the mind. And so, the warrior learns that the first battle is never with an opponent outside. It is with the self, the mind that seeks distraction, the body that seeks ease, the spirit that hesitates. Confronting these before the sun rises ensures that when the day demands action, the warrior responds not with hesitation but with certainty, not with reaction but with intent. Every motion, every thought, every decision flows from this morning preparation, and every advantage in life is rooted in mastery of the hours that others ignore. To rise before the world is to claim those hours as your own. It is to assert discipline when no one else is watching, to cultivate presence when no one else is present, to sharpen the mind and spirit before the day imposes its tests. The 1% who wake like this are not the lucky. They are not the naturally gifted. They are those who choose to face themselves first, to prepare quietly, to harness the stillness before the chaos, and to carry that power forward into everything that follows. If you wish to rise above the ordinary, do not wait for the world to begin. Rise first. Meet yourself in the quiet. Shape your body, steady your mind, and focus your spirit. The day will come, and when it does, you will already be ready. The strength of a warrior is often measured by what the eye can see: the speed of the strike, the precision of the blade, the endurance in battle. But true strength is invisible. It lives in the hours before dawn. In the silent repetition of movements, in the patience that endures when no one is watching. Training the body is necessary, but training the body without shaping the mind is hollow. And training the mind without shaping the body leaves it weak. The warrior who seeks mastery understands that both must be forged together, that one cannot excel while the other lags. Discipline is the forge, and the daily practices are the hammer and anvil that shape not only skill but character. The body must be conditioned to respond with precision under pressure. It is not enough to swing the sword correctly once or twice. The motion must be embedded into muscle and bone so deeply that it becomes instinct, automatic, unhesitating. This requires repetition, yes, but repetition alone is not enough. The mind must accompany the motion, guiding it, observing it, refining it. Without this integration, the motion becomes rote, mechanical, and ineffective. I practiced movements endlessly, not for the sake of performing them, but to understand their meaning, to feel the rhythm, to sense the timing, and to recognize the subtle energy in every strike. Strength is born not in the act itself, but in the awareness that shapes it. Yet the body alone is not sufficient. A strong body carried by an undisciplined mind will falter at the first true challenge. Mental training is the silent, often invisible aspect of mastery. It demands attention to thoughts, emotions, and intentions. The mind must remain calm when provoked, focused when distracted, and aware when threatened. This is why meditation, reflection, and deliberate mental exercise are as critical as any sword practice. The warrior must train to recognize the impulses that arise in fear, pride, anger, or doubt, and to transform those impulses into clarity, patience, and precision. Without such practice, the mind becomes a liability, even in a body forged for battle. Endurance is built not only in the duels fought or the weight lifted, but in the ability to persist through monotony and discomfort. A warrior who trains only when motivated is weak, because motivation is fleeting. Discipline, however, is constant. It is the force that moves the hand, guides the foot, and steels the heart when desire falters. I learned to push beyond exhaustion, to repeat movements until the muscles trembled and the mind whispered surrender, to continue even when no progress seemed visible. This is where true resilience is cultivated. The body is strengthened, yes, but more importantly, the spirit is tempered. Precision is another mark of a trained warrior. The body may be strong, but strength without control is wasted effort. Every strike, every stance, every movement must be deliberate. This is why I practiced alone, under no audience, with no pressure but my own expectations. The world does not teach subtlety, and no crowd rewards careful observation. Only in solitude can the body and mind attune to the invisible forces, the timing, the weight, the momentum, that determine whether action succeeds or fails. Precision is not an act. It is a habit cultivated through disciplined attention over time. Warrior's training is also an exercise in restraint. The mind learns not to act rashly, the body learns not to move prematurely, the spirit learns to wait until the proper moment. Every false strike, every wasted motion, every misjudged timing becomes a lesson in awareness. Strength is not only in movement but in stillness, in the ability to act only when the moment is correct. The strongest blade strikes only when opportunity and intention align. This discipline is learned through repetition and reflection, through constant testing of limits, and through the patient observation of oneself and the world. Flexibility of both body and mind is essential. A rigid body breaks under force, and a rigid mind collapses under surprise. A warrior must move freely, adjust quickly, and remain centered regardless of circumstance. This is why training included not only strength but balance, endurance, and adaptability. I practiced in varied conditions, on rough terrain, in wind and rain, in the heat and the cold, to prepare the body to respond without hesitation. And the mind adapted along with it, learning to remain calm and observant despite changing circumstances. Strength that cannot bend will shatter, and discipline that cannot adapt will fail. Even beyond physical and mental practice, the habits of daily life contribute to mastery. Every meal, every walk, every moment of rest is an opportunity to observe, refine, and strengthen. A warrior's life is not divided into practice and ordinary living. Life itself is the training ground. Conscious effort in small, seemingly insignificant tasks builds a mind that notices detail, a body that is ready for challenge, and a spirit that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Neglect in these small moments creates weakness that becomes visible when the true test arrives. The integration of body and mind is also a lesson in patience. Mastery cannot be rushed. Strength cannot be acquired in a single effort. It requires the humility to persist, the patience to endure repetition, and the wisdom to recognize that progress is often invisible until it manifests at the precise moment of need. Many desire quick results, but true warriors know that the journey itself is the training, that every small act contributes to the whole, and that skill, awareness, and resilience emerge only through consistent, deliberate effort over time. Finally, discipline transforms strength into character. It is not enough to be strong or fast. A warrior must be steady, patient, observant, and humble. These qualities are forged in the same way the body is forged, through persistent effort, deliberate attention, and the willingness to confront discomfort. Strength without character is dangerous, aimless, and fleeting. Discipline channels physical power and mental acuity into purpose, ensuring that the warrior's actions are effective, deliberate, and aligned with a deeper understanding of the world. The work of training body and mind is endless, yet it is also the greatest gift a warrior can give himself. Each repetition, each reflection, each controlled breath adds to a reservoir of readiness, clarity, and resilience. This foundation allows the warrior to act decisively when challenges arise, to endure when circumstances are harsh, and to maintain balance when the world is in turmoil. Strength becomes not just a physical quality but a state of being, inseparable from the character and discipline that underpin it. To cultivate the warrior within, one must embrace the hidden work, the silent, relentless daily effort that builds body and mind together. One must understand that skill is a reflection of preparation, and preparation is a reflection of discipline. The path is long, arduous, and unseen by most, but it is in this dedication that the 1% distinguish themselves. Those who embrace the hidden labor, who integrate body and mind with patience, precision, and awareness, awaken not only strength but mastery itself. Discipline transforms the ordinary into extraordinary, the capable into unshakable, the mortal into a warrior who commands not only the blade but the life that surrounds it. Every motion practiced, every thought refined, every habit cultivated is a step along this path. The body is strengthened, the mind is sharpened, and the spirit is tempered to endure, adapt, and prevail. This is the essence of the warrior's discipline, the work behind the visible skill, the foundation that allows mastery to emerge in every action, every decision, and every moment of life. A warrior who trains body and mind with relentless intent learns that strength is not only measured in victories, but in readiness, clarity, and the unshakable calm that comes from knowing he has prepared for all that may come. And in this preparation, the invisible labor of discipline becomes the visible power of mastery. When one chooses the path of a warrior, there comes a point when solitude is no longer an option but a necessity. The world is loud, filled with distractions, expectations, and judgments that can cloud perception. In solitude, there is none of this, only the self, the mind, and the body stripped bare of excuses and concealments. It is here that the warrior discovers the raw truth of his strengths and weaknesses. Walking alone is not a punishment, it is a crucible, and in that crucible, character, awareness, and strategy are forged. Many fear solitude because it forces them to face themselves, but a warrior embraces it because only in stillness does clarity emerge. Solitude teaches observation beyond the surface. When surrounded by others, the mind divides its attention between voices, movements, and expectations. Alone, it can focus entirely on the subtleties that matter: the shift of weight, the rhythm of breath, the smallest hesitation that can reveal intention. I have spent hours in quiet reflection, observing the motion of clouds, the flow of water, the patterns of wind, and I learned more from these moments than from countless duels. Nature, in its stillness, instructs the patient observer in timing, patience, and adaptability. A warrior who does not train in solitude will struggle to perceive the hidden currents of the world, and in battle, he will be blind to opportunity. Solitude also confronts the warrior with fear and doubt. When no one is watching, when there is no external validation, the mind whispers its insecurities with clarity. The body, unassisted, feels every ache and fatigue. The spirit senses the weight of responsibility alone. These moments are not comfortable, yet they are necessary. To endure them is to cultivate courage not dependent on applause or recognition. The true measure of a warrior is not how he performs in front of others, but how he confronts himself when all distractions are stripped away. Each moment of silent endurance strengthens the mind and fortifies the spirit. In solitude, the warrior learns patience. The world demands haste and judgment, but the quiet teaches that timing is more valuable than speed. Action without preparation is folly, and observation without focus is wasted. I learned to wait in stillness, to let insight arrive naturally rather than force it. The most decisive strikes, the most profound understanding, come not in noise or rush but in the patient attention cultivated during silent hours. A mind honed in solitude perceives opportunities that others miss, and a spirit tempered in quiet acts without hesitation when the moment presents itself. Walking alone is also a lesson in self-reliance. There is no one to rely on, no mentor to guide every step, no companion to share burden or praise. Every success, every failure, every lesson comes from the warrior's own choices. This cultivates a clarity of purpose that cannot exist when one is guided too heavily by others' expectations. The path of mastery requires self-sufficiency, for in the heat of battle or the trials of life, there will be no one to intercede. Solitude teaches the mind to trust its own judgment, the body to execute without hesitation, and the spirit to endure without complaint. Yet solitude is not emptiness. It is preparation, observation, and learning. Many see isolation as a void, but in truth, it is rich with opportunity. Every movement can be scrutinized, every thought examined, every decision reflected upon. The warrior who embraces these hours learns to refine instinct, sharpen perception, and deepen understanding. Even the smallest discoveries in silence, how the body balances, how the mind reacts to thought, how the spirit responds to challenge, become weapons in the unseen arsenal of mastery. The warrior becomes aware of subtle signals, unnoticed by those who cling to noise and distraction, and learns to act with precision because he has learned to see clearly. Solitude also cultivates humility. Without others to compare oneself to, without applause or attention, the warrior learns that skill is not inherent but earned, that mastery is a process, and that pride has no place in the development of true ability. The quiet moments strip away pretense, leaving only what is real, what is practiced, and what is true. There is no room for arrogance when every day requires self-discipline and self-examination. In solitude, the warrior becomes honest with himself, and this honesty shapes decisions, actions, and the very essence of strength. The mind in solitude becomes receptive to learning in ways the crowded world cannot provide. Lessons appear in observation of the smallest details, the sway of a branch, the shift of light, the rhythm of movement. In these details, the warrior finds patterns, strategies, and understanding that cannot be taught by others. The mind trained in silence develops the foresight and intuition that turn ordinary action into decisive mastery. It sees not only what is, but what will be, and in this vision lies an advantage no one else possesses. Moreover, solitude allows reflection on past actions and preparation for future challenges. The warrior reviews victories and failures without bias, without the influence of others' opinions. Weaknesses are identified, strengths reinforced, and understanding deepened. This continuous self-assessment performed without distraction sharpens the mind as the blade is sharpened on stone. Those who neglect reflection, who rely solely on the chaos of activity, never see themselves clearly and therefore cannot correct their errors or refine their skill. Solitude is the mirror that reveals the warrior as he truly is, not as he appears to others. Even the act of walking alone can become a lesson in rhythm, balance, and mindfulness. Each step, each breath, each movement becomes an opportunity to refine the coordination of body, mind, and spirit. A warrior does not reserve practice for formal sessions. Life itself becomes training, and solitude magnifies the lessons hidden in ordinary moments. When a warrior moves alone, he moves with awareness, prepared for any challenge, adaptable to any change, steady in spirit and body. To embrace solitude is to embrace the full responsibility of growth. It is to reject reliance on others' guidance, to accept the discomfort of isolation, and to find strength in self-mastery. The lessons learned in silence, patience, observation, awareness, reflection, humility, endurance, form the foundation of every action, every decision, and every success that follows. Without this foundation, the strength displayed in battle is fragile, the skill displayed in conflict is incomplete, and the mind falters when pressure rises. Those who seek greatness must understand that solitude is not a punishment but a tool. It is a weapon forged from quiet observation and inner confrontation. The warrior who walks alone gains insight that cannot be taught, perspective that cannot be borrowed, and strength that cannot be shaken. Each step, each moment of reflection, each conscious act in solitude prepares the body, sharpens the mind, and steadies the spirit. The path of the solitary warrior is not for the faint of heart. It demands endurance, patience, and honesty. It strips away the comforts of distraction, the illusions of social support, and the temporary pleasures that dull perception. But for those willing to face themselves without excuse or compromise, it provides clarity, precision, and strength that no crowd, teacher, or companion can provide. In the silence, the warrior discovers not emptiness but everything: skill, understanding, and the unshakable calm that precedes mastery. To walk alone is to walk deliberately, to observe keenly, to act intentionally, and to endure fully. It is to train the mind and spirit in ways the world cannot offer, to refine perception beyond ordinary limits, and to prepare the body for challenges that may never be anticipated. The warrior who learns from solitude does not fear the unknown, for he has already faced himself. Those who seek mastery must embrace solitude as their greatest teacher. In its quiet, the hidden truths of strategy, discipline, and strength are revealed. In its silence, the mind sharpens, the spirit strengthens, and the body becomes attuned to the rhythm of life itself. And the warrior who walks this path alone discovers a truth no crowd can teach: the greatest power comes from within.